Hi guys, it's Starseed Mentality back at you again with another video. And today I'm going to be discussing why I say African people are, sorry, I'm just opening my blinds a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Why I say African people are indigenous to the entire planet. You understand? And this is because we know that life on Earth doesn't just magically appear out of nowhere. We know that energy in this spectrum of light that we are under is neither recreated or destroyed. This means that life on this planet did not come from nowhere else. It just didn't just magically appear on this planet. It came from outer space. Okay? And we are also finding out, and Comeditism teaches you this, that your melanated vehicle or your melanin is condensed particles of the sun. This is why when you see white people, white reflects back to the sun. And when you look at the melanated individual, they absorb the sun. Okay? So you are a condensed version of the sun. We know that in different star systems, there are different star systems. This is why there's different galaxies and different universes, because there's a sun in the middle of that universe. This means that ETs are melanated individuals. Which brings me to the next part about the Anunnakis, peoples that come from the skies to create race on this earth, on this plane of existence. And it didn't just start in no Africa, because, and then maybe I'll say it in this video, there were many trips. And I'm even starting to realize that the story of the Inky and Enlil is not our origin story, but really the story of galactic warfare that happens, well after our creation. Okay? Or maybe it was, or maybe it wasn't. It could have very well been Earth being created so that there could be, and I don't even know if I posted this video on here yet, where I explain how I think that there was life on Venus, there was life on Mars, there was life, because really, with the sun system that we have, we're supposed to have life on all the planets, not just Earth. Okay, so, and we're finding pyramids on different planets and things like that. And I just saw something the other day with Kepler, how Kepler is more suited for human life. And I'm just like, these people, please don't go over there and do what Avatar did, the colonial powers in the movie Avatar did, which is you want to go to another planet and destroy their planet so you can live there. Like, please just leave them people alone. You don't know what's over there. Okay, but they're even finding that it's other planets suited for human life, which means it's alien life over there. Okay, and it would not surprise me if they find more melanated beings over there. Okay, and so in the best way that I can explain this is whether they're green or blue, what brown, whatever the case may be, really that when you're black, you absorb all the spectrums of light, right? But if you're blue, that means you absorb all the spectrums of light, and then the only thing you reflect black or reject, or the only color spectrum you reject, is blue. So you look blue. Same thing with green, along with minerals in the body. Rather you're more chlorophyll based, or rather you're more iron based. Okay. All right. So it's a lot that goes into it as far as why other ETs look different colors than melanated people. But point being, our origin stories is a series of other star systems coming to this planet and either starting life on this planet, either because of a war that's happening in the sky and they want kind of refuge on Earth. They created life on Earth as a form of refuge. So in other words, you know, because of the battles that was going on in the sky, the reason why you don't see life on Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, or any of these other planets is because those civilizations left to come to Earth as a form of safety. That's one theory. Actually, I think that's pretty correct. That could have been why life on Earth started from many different star systems, aka the Anunnaki. Okay, and they were battling a star system that was falling in consciousness, that was obviously trying to infiltrate this planet, and that's obviously the story of Enlil. Okay, infiltrating the waters of Enki. Okay, so, and I know in my previous videos I got it confused. My apologies, the names do sound the same. And I think I'll make another video talking about the Anunnaki and who created the floods. That's the next video after this. That's going to be like a part 2. Is the Anunnaki the enemy? Etc. Okay, stay tuned. But you know, that's the theory. Okay, and so melanated people are indigenous to this planet because life on this planet started from other melanated looking entities that came from different star systems. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is, after this creation, the Anunnaki obviously leaves because, again, there could have been a battle. There could have been a war. We know that trying to experimentations to expand the populations of the galaxy, they created other races of beings on this planet, engineered more races on this planet. Okay. All right. But when the Anunnaki leaves, and every time the Anunnaki returns, I guess I'm going to put it in 2. It's not going to be a part 2. I'm going to just say it right here. Okay, when the Anunnaki returns, is the Anunnaki our enemy? No, they are not. The Anunnaki is not our enemy. And they say that it's the descendants of Enlil that causes the floods, because they're infiltrating the waters of Earth. But that's not necessarily the case, since we know that space travel creates you know, floods, pulling on the different poles and all of that. It causes flooding, okay, that resets the Earth. Okay, and so again, I think that it's inevitable. I think floods are inevitable. I think that, you know, when the ship crashed, so again, it's not the Anunnaki that causes the flood, but the shipwrecking that causes the flood. Okay, and so the first shift is when, obviously, when these civilizations first came to Earth, they were on Pangea, engineering the Africanoid races like me and you. This is why we have mitochondrial Eve DNA, and this is also why they cannot decode the junk DNA in our bodies. It is my theory that it is because it's galactic ancestral DNA that can come from different star systems, rather that be Sirius, Pleiades, Draxonians. It doesn't matter. Depending on the codes in your genes, you're going to be able to access these different star systems. And then I'm going to pause this right here so I can lay down the graphics. Okay. And so, my theory is that the first time the Anunnaki came wreck during the ship crashing is when the Titanic plates drift apart. Okay. And so that's obviously one of the floods that we do know that did happen. And then obviously in the Bible, they have two other recording floods, okay, that I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on to kind of get a sense of what happened. But we know that the first flooding was definitely the breaking of Pangea and the split of the continental plates. Okay, obviously, so maybe this is do they say this is like the second return of Christ or something like that? So the Christ consciousness is returning, which means Nebaru is getting ready to return, which could also indicate that there weren't 3 floods. There's only been 1 flood that happened in human history, not 3. But anyways, the Anunnaki is not our enemy. Yes, the Anunnaki are responsible for the flooding, but the Anunnaki is the Inky and not Enel. Okay, the Enels are the reptilian aliens that are able to shapeshift and look like me and you. Okay, and shapeshift and want to keep everybody on this Drexonian low vibrational entrapment, and keep us under this moon matrix or this sleep spell, okay, so that we are not aware of our Anunnaki galactic ancestry and who we really are as melanated people, okay. And so with that being said, this video serves as part 1 and part 2 put together on why I say African people are not only originated in Africa, but are indigenous to the entire globe. And just to piggyback off what I've said in my previous videos, it is my theory that the first individuals to come to this planet to create the African species on this planet is obviously the Nephilim, which is the Anunnaki's giants. Okay, definitely the Nephilim that is responsible for some of the African genes, definitely the Lyrans and our connection to cats. And I'm starting to think maybe Sirius as well, since it is the headquarters that we go to before we come to Earth as human beings. Sirius can also have responsibility on the first races to come to Earth, had the planet had been a water planet before evolution, of course, and the population of animals and land, okay, and grasses, okay. I even believe that the waters on this planet was able to create or form other forms of life, but again, nothing on this planet is recreated or destroyed. We know that water is the #1 creator of, of life. This is kind of why they go to different planets and they try to see if there's water there, because if there's water, there's life, right? Or there's civilization, okay? And so let me check my time because I do have to go to class and get back to the real world, okay? But that would mean that the ETs kind of already had it in theory that they were going to come to this planet and start life here, because there were dinosaurs races here, there were lion species here, and birds here already. And so this would mean that they can't ever explain evolution because there was in fact gene splicing. Maybe these other forms of what you call it, higher consciousness, had to condense themselves into animal form. Okay, and in order to blend and mix everything, obviously had to, so maybe that's the first flooding. The first flooding was of the animals. Okay, hence Noah's Ark, trying to preserve the life of all these animals, but they had to DNA splice all the animals that was already down here. Hence why some of like Avens look like birds, Lyrans look like lions, Sirens look like mer people or fish people. Okay, so they had to do a lot of, and obviously that evolved. Okay, so then you got mer people, then you got bird looking people, then you got lion looking people. Okay, and so I don't know, you tell me. Okay, and obviously we know that the Inky or the Anunnaki created all these different races. Okay, you got the African giants, of course, and the Anunnaki, they say the Anunnaki were giants. Okay, so they created other entities that were also giants, and this is where you get the idea that they are gods. Okay, and the whole story of Inky and Enlil is, you know, the Enlil creation, which is a creation by the Lyrans, falling in consciousness and falling to this material plane and wanting power. Because what is it when you fall in your consciousness or fall to your ego? You fall into wanting power, money, and fame. And so the reptilians kind of fell in their consciousness and rebelled against the gods or the Anunnakis that created them. Okay, and so yes. So you tell me what you think. Okay, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I didn't think about this or write anything down, but I'm just over here thinking. Okay, trying to figure out our origin story, the real origin story. And of course you have to do that by discernment, by listening to your ancestors, by channeling, of course. And then you have to read mistranslated texts, religious texts that had the truth all written in it, until the enemy, the Enlils, okay, made everything get lost in translation, burning down libraries, burning down spiritual knowledge. Okay, but you know, it will return. Okay, the Christ conscious will return. Okay, you tell me what you think. We are all remembering, okay, at this point in time, who we were in a past life. What was Earth life like in a past life? Had we come here so many times as melanated people? We have been here trillions of years. Okay, they're not telling you the truth about anything, so do not use your discernment, please. The only way to find the answer is to really tap into your Akashic records, and of course listen to the ancestors. Tap in. Okay, they will give you all the answers little by little. Okay, but you do have to read some of these texts to decode some of these symbols. Okay, like the fish, obviously that's Sirius, etc., etc. But just kind of piggybacking, just going based off of what I said earlier, you know, about the other animals and how they got here. You know, it is said that the Anunnaki, it got rid of the dinosaurs, and used reptile DNA, and maybe the Lyrans tried to do this again, but it failed. But obviously, because evolution isn't real, you know, they killed some of the dinosaurs to create or merge and blend together what we have today, as in the sun. Hi, raw. Okay. Ooh, that's too bright. You gotta do it like that. Okay. Just said hello. Okay. But anyway, so that's probably how they did it. The first Africanoids anyway, and then maybe the other civilizations came later. So they brought the lions, so that they can have something to blend and gene splice, right? Or it could mean, because you know that animals come of a higher frequency than we do, so it could have been that our original ancestors just condensed themselves to an animal form, and then the Anunnaki came back and gene spliced everybody, which is kind of why we got that junk DNA, that mitochondrial Eve DNA, that feminine DNA that nobody can find on Earth. Whoever our ancestors is as melanated people, they cannot find that bitch. Like, they cannot find that motherfucker, okay? That mean that came from up there, okay? The heavens, okay? The Inky versus the Enneal, okay? We are people of heavens, okay? Cosmic melanin, okay? And so what they cannot find it, okay? They can look at Asian people and they know that they came from cat. They can look at they can look at any other race and can be like, oh yeah, they were gene spliced by They can do that. They can look at other Europeans, be like, this is primate. Whoever created them with primate, but they cannot find whatever created us. Okay? And so, with that being said, all right, I love y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to this video to stay updated on my content. And with that being said, I love y'all. Peace.